Breaking news. Amanda Eller
Amanda Eller.
has disappeared missing.
17 days.
Search teams.
No food, no water, day and night.
Amanda Eller. Amanda Eller.
In the depths of a tropical jungle, a woman is dying. And for 17 days, she has been trapped in paradise-turned-nightmare with no food, no shoes, a broken leg, and the will to survive that defied all logic. This is the story of Amanda Eller, a yoga instructor and physical therapist who went for a simple 3-mile hike and vanished into one of the most dangerous forests on Earth. Those who know Amanda describe her as vibrant, adventurous, and deeply spiritual because she loves the outdoors and she loves Maui. And on this beautiful Wednesday morning, she decides to do something she's done dozens of times before, which is to go for a hike. The Miraculous Forest Reserve contains over 2,000 acres of dense tropical jungle with towering trees, thick vegetation, and beautiful trails that wind through ancient forest. Amanda plans a simple 3-mile hike that should take maybe 90 minutes, and she'll be back before anyone even notices she's gone. She parks her white Toyota RAV4 in the forest parking lot, and here's where she makes her first mistake, because she leaves everything behind, including her phone, her wallet, and all her water, as everything stays locked in the car. At approximately 7:30 in the morning, Amanda Eller walks into the forest, and she will not be seen again for 17 days. The hike starts like any other, as Amanda knows these trails, and the morning air is fresh while the forest is alive with sound. But about a mile into her hike, Amanda does something that seems harmless at the time, when she stops, finds a quiet spot, and sits down to meditate. For Amanda, this is normal, because meditation and connection with nature and finding peace in the stillness is part of her daily practice. But when she opens her eyes and stands up to continue her hike, she can't remember which direction she came from. Later, Amanda would describe this moment when she said, "The whole time I was going deeper into the jungle, even though I thought I was going back where I came from." She walks and walks and walks, but nothing looks familiar, as every tree looks the same, and every path seems to lead nowhere. Hours pass, and the sun moves across the sky, as Amanda realizes with growing horror that she is completely and utterly lost. And it gets worse, because much worse is coming. On either day 3 or day 4 of her ordeal, her memory is unclear from the trauma. Amanda is trying to find higher ground while trying to get a better view and trying to find a way out when she slips. Amanda Eller falls 20 feet down a cliff, and she lands hard against rocks and roots with devastating impact. When she finally stops falling, she can barely move because her leg is fractured, as the bone in her shin, the tibia, is broken. And now she's not just lost, but she's injured, alone, and growing weaker by the hour. May 9th, 2019, just one day after Amanda disappeared, her boyfriend realizes something is wrong, because she should have been back yesterday, and she's not answering her phone, which isn't like her at all. He drives to the forest and finds her car still parked in the lot, with everything inside, including her phone, wallet, and keys. But there's no Amanda. He immediately calls the police, and by that afternoon, an official search begins. The Maui Police Department deploys search and rescue teams with trained dogs and helicopters as they search the obvious trails, the known paths, and the areas where lost hikers usually turn up. But they find nothing, with no footprints, no torn clothing, and no signs of Amanda at all. Days pass, including 3 days, 4 days, and 5 days, as the search area expands and dozens of volunteers join, including professional trackers, military veterans, and anyone who wants to help. Amanda's family is desperate as her mother, her father, and her sisters cannot accept that she's just gone. And then something extraordinary happens because the community of Maui refuses to give up. Someone creates a Facebook page called Find Amanda, and within days, thousands of people are following the search. A GoFundMe campaign is launched to raise money for private helicopter searches with the goal to raise a few $1,000s, but they raise over $75,000. But even with all this effort, all this money, and all these searchers, Amanda remains invisible. As somewhere in that massive forest, she is fighting for her life, and no one can find her. On May 14th, which is 6 days after Amanda disappeared, the official search is suspended because the police don't have the resources to continue. To most people, this means one thing, which is that Amanda Eller is dead. But a small group of volunteers refuse to accept this. While the world searches for her, Amanda Eller is living a nightmare. Day 5 arrives, and Amanda has eaten nothing as she survived only on water from streams. But even finding water is dangerous because the jungle is steep and slippery, where one wrong step could mean another fall, another injury, or death. Her shoes were lost on day 5 during a flash flood, when Amanda tries to dry them on a rock, and the rushing water simply sweeps them away. And now she must walk barefoot through jungle, over sharp rocks, and through thorns and broken branches that cut into her feet with every step. Her fractured leg throbs with every movement, and she can barely put weight on it as she crawls when she has to, and drags herself forward when walking becomes impossible. But worse than the physical pain is the isolation and the complete, absolute loneliness. Amanda later said that, "Every day I heard helicopters, and every day I tried to signal them, but I was under such thick canopy that they couldn't see me, and it was the most helpless feeling in the world." Imagine that, because help is literally flying above you and you can hear it, but you're invisible beneath the trees as you scream until your throat is raw and you wave your arms, but no one sees you. And then the helicopter flies away and you're alone again. Amanda begins to forage for food, including wild berries and guava fruits when she can find them, and she doesn't know if some of them are poisonous, but she's so hungry that she doesn't care. She drinks from streams, from puddles, and from anywhere she can find water, while knowing this water could make her sick or could give her parasites, but without water, she'll die within days. The injuries pile up as her skin is covered in cuts and scratches from pushing through vegetation, and insect bites are everywhere, while her feet are shredded and the infection begins. Cellulitis, which is a bacterial infection of the skin, starts in her feet and begins to spread up her legs as her tissue swells, turns red, and becomes hot to the touch. Later, doctors will say that if Amanda had been found even a few days later, they would have had to amputate her feet. But Amanda doesn't know any of this, as all she knows is that every day is harder than the last, while she's lost between 15 and 20 pounds, and her body is shutting down as she's becoming delirious. By day 15, Amanda reaches a waterfall that is beautiful and peaceful, and in her state of exhaustion and despair, she begins to accept that this might be where her story ends. Amanda later recalled that, "I remember sitting by that waterfall and thinking, maybe this is it, maybe this is where I die," and there was almost a peace about it. But then something shifts inside her as she makes a decision and a choice. She said that it came down to life and death, and I had to choose. And I chose life, because I wasn't going to take the easy way out, even though that meant more suffering for me. Amanda Eller decides to fight for one more day, one more hour, and one more step as she starts walking again. While Amanda fights her lonely battle, something extraordinary is happening in the outside world. Remember that the official search has been called off and the police have given up, but a core group of volunteers refuse to accept that Amanda is gone. Leading this effort is a man named Chris Berquist, who coordinates volunteers, plans search patterns, and dedicates every waking hour to finding Amanda. And it costs him everything. Chris Berquist is fired from his job because his employer tells him he's spending too much time on the search and that he needs to focus on his work. But Chris doesn't stop because he can't, as he believes Amanda is alive and he will not abandon her. Private helicopter pilots volunteer their time and fuel, while experienced hikers named Javier Cantelops and Troy Helmer organize ground searches in areas no one has checked yet. The volunteers use the donated money to fund helicopter flights over the most remote and unexplored parts of the forest, in areas so dense that no ground team could ever reach them. May 23rd arrives, which is 15 days since Amanda disappeared, and a helicopter crew is flying a grid pattern over one of the most remote sections of the reserve. They've flown this same area before and seen nothing, but today they decide to make one more pass. The pilot banks left and follows the path of a small stream while scanning the canopy below. And then there's movement as something or someone appears in a clearing near the water. And it's her. May 24th, 2019 marks 17 days after she vanished. Amanda Eller is sitting in a creek bed between two waterfalls in one of the most remote parts of the Makawa Forest Reserve when she looks up to see a helicopter hovering above her. At first, she thinks she's hallucinating because she's had these visions before, with helicopters that weren't really there and people who disappeared when she reached them. But this helicopter doesn't disappear. And when Amanda stands and waves her arms, the people inside wave back. They've found her after 17 days, after thousands of volunteer hours, after $75,000 raised, after Chris Berquist lost his job, and after Amanda's family prayed and cried and refused to give up hope. The helicopter cannot land in the dense jungle, so Javier Cantelops, Troy Helmer, and Chris Berquist have to cut a path through the vegetation to reach her. And when they finally get to Amanda, she runs toward them. Javier Cantelops later said that we all look to our right, and out of the woodwork, man, you see Amanda Eller, my friend, coming out and waving her hands. And it was unbelievable, dude. Amanda is barely recognizable as she's lost nearly 20 pounds and her face is sunburned and gaunt, while her feet are black and swollen with infection. As she's covered in cuts, bruises, and insect bites, she can barely walk because her fractured leg has made every step agony for 2 weeks. And the cellulitis infection has spread so badly that her tissue is dying. The rescuers help her into a specialized basket stretcher as the helicopter winches her up through the trees. And Amanda Eller leaves the jungle that almost killed her. She's rushed to Maui Memorial Medical Center, where doctors and nurses are shocked she's alive, as they immediately begin treatment for dehydration, infection, and her multiple injuries. Later, doctors will confirm that if Amanda had been found even 2 or 3 days later, she might not have survived, because the infection was that severe. And Amanda Eller should not be alive. Thank you for watching Amanda's incredible story. If her courage inspired you, please subscribe to our channel for more real survival stories that prove the strength of the human spirit. Hit the like button, share this video, and remember that sometimes surviving means choosing to take one more step, even when you can't see the path ahead. Until the next story.